Is Iran strategically cashing in on the widespread chaos unleashed by President Trump's aggressive war posture in the Persian Gulf region? Has Trump's Iran war already imposed massive financial burdens, costing the global economy millions daily through disrupted trade and energy flows? Are commercial ships now forced to pay up to $2 million in escalated insurance and escort fees just to safely pass through the Strait of Hormuz? An Iranian lawmaker made a notable statement amid the ongoing situation in the Strait of Hormuz, addressing shocking maritime transit arrangements. Alaeddin Boroujerdi stated that Iran has initiated collection of fees from specific vessels to ensure safe passage through the strategically vital waterway. Boroujerdi claimed authorities have gathered approximately $2 million from certain ships navigating the strait, establishing a revenue mechanism for passage facilitation. Multiple news outlets referenced the remarks delivered to Iranian state broadcaster IRIB on March 22, documenting the policy implementation details. Alaeddin Boroujerdi said, and I quote, "The measure has already been implemented and reflects what he called a new sovereign regime in the strait after decades. Now, because war has costs, naturally we must do this and take transit fees from ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz." Unquote. This development follows U.S. President Trump's issuance of a 48-hour ultimatum demanding Iran fully reopen the Strait of Hormuz without restrictions. In his directive, Trump cautioned Tehran regarding potential targeting of various power generation facilities located throughout the country. Tehran has leveraged control over Hormuz as a strategic factor in the conflict, contributing to disruptions affecting global energy market stability. Beyond hydrocarbons, major Gulf states depend heavily on the strait for food imports essential to their population sustenance requirements. Saudi Arabia sources 80%, the UAE approximately 90%, and Qatar nearly 98% of their food supplies via Hormuz transit routes, according to CNN data. Shipping operators must now account for these charges in operational planning or consider alternative routing options carrying higher logistical expenses. In direct response to Trump's ultimatum, the IRGC has indicated it would implement complete closure of the strait, escalating maritime access restrictions.
In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. The enemy forces those who prefer fleeing over standing their ground, those same masters of consecutive defeats who use the Muslim people of the region as their human shields and see fear in every one of their cells until the time of our strikes, attacks, arrives, so that they may be relieved of their fear even before the impact, and this is the due recompense of any enemy who casts malicious intent upon the security of our people. Hey, Trump, you're fired. You're familiar with this sentence. Thank you for your attention to this matter. The central headquarters of Khatam al-Anbiya. In the name of God, the most gracious, the most merciful. O you who believe, when you encounter those who disbelieve, see them weak and do not turn your backs to them in flight. The terrorist president of America has, in continuation of his aggressive and global destabilizing behavior, threatened that if Iran does not open the Strait of Hormuz, he will target Iranian power plants. We have repeatedly stated that the Strait of Hormuz is only closed to the enemy and those making unprofitable trips, and it has not yet been fully closed and is under our intelligent control. Harmless passage, under specific regulations, is ensured with our security and interests in mind. However, if America's threats regarding Iranian power plants are implemented, retaliatory measures will be taken immediately. 1. The Strait of Hormuz will be completely closed, and it will not be reopened until our destroyed power plants are rebuilt. 2. All power plants, energy infrastructure, and information technology of the Zionist regime will be widely targeted. 3. All similar companies in the region that have American shareholders will be completely destroyed. 4. Power plants in regional countries that host American bases will be legitimate targets. Everything is ready for a major jihad with the aim of completely destroying all American economic interests in the Middle East region. We were not the initiators of the war, and we will not be now. But if the enemy inflicts damage on our power plants, we will do anything to defend our country and the interests of our nation, and the relentless destruction of the aforementioned targets will begin, and nothing can prevent the continuation of our operations to destroy the energy, oil, and industrial infrastructure of America and its allies in the region. And there is no power except that of the Almighty, the Wise.
On March 22, Iran warned that if the U.S. hits its power plants, it will answer by striking American-linked infrastructure in return. Iran's military said that in such a scenario, energy hubs, IT nodes, and desalination sites would all be fair targets for retaliation. The IRGC warned that an attack on Iran's power network would not stay local, but trigger a region-wide response across multiple Gulf states. Just hours later, state media pushed out a detailed list of Gulf power and water facilities that Iran says are already in its crosshairs. Near Al-Khobar, Iran highlights a major gas-fired plant with more than 4,000 megawatts of capacity as a prime potential target. It also flags Ras Tanura in Sharqiya province, a key oil hub tied into wider power and export infrastructure networks. In the UAE, the list starts with the Baraka nuclear plant in Abu Dhabi, which generates around 5,600 megawatts for the grid. It then points to the Jebel Ali complex, where gas-fired generation is tightly coupled with huge desalination systems that supply water. Iran's media also name-checks the Mohammed bin Rashid Solar Park, one of the largest solar energy projects anywhere in the world. For Qatar, Ras Laffan's vast gas-based power plant is singled out as a backbone site for national electricity supply. The Al Hal facility, combining power generation and desalination south of Doha, is also listed as a possible target. In Kuwait, the Al Zour South and North plants are described as critical pillars of the national grid. Sharqiya Energy Park, home to major solar and wind projects, rounds out the list as a symbol of Kuwait's future energy mix. However, President Donald Trump has now decided to postpone his previously announced plan to target Iran's power plants and energy infrastructure by a full 5 days. Trump stated that this delay follows productive conversations over the last 2 days with key advisors and international partners.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that we will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the U.S. will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry ghats.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.